The fact is that the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. Now, that's true, and I tell you why. When you look on grass from the top, you don't see as much grass as when you look at the grass from the side. Can you see it? So you look from the side, it truly looks greener on the side of the neighbor than in your own yard when you look down on it. It's just a fact. And I think it looks just as green and as beautiful, these small little temptations that we're facing each and every day. And there may be, I want to get this treat, or I want to get that gadget, or I would like this thing or that thing, or they're all very real and are looking very, very tempting. And it's very human to be drawn and pulled in by all of this. Our whole economy works like that. The whole advertising industry, it's just, that's what it is about often. So that's in addition to what we need and our real needs, there's always more. There is the bling, there is the bliss, there is the smiles, everything, it's out there. And I know of myself, I'm longing for some of that. I know there is something in me. And I think when Thomas Jefferson wrote the first lines of the Declaration of Independence and put in there the pursuit of happiness, that is part of it. So yes, we have unalienable rights, and among them are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Now, as much as we long for and as much as we chase for happiness, my experience is that there are better gauges to invest your time, your energy into than what promises happiness, and what, I think, in some way does not keep the promise. So happiness, and to pursue it, I don't have anything against it. But to me, what matters more than that is meaning and purpose. What gives your life meaning? What gives your life purpose? Why are you alive? Or what makes you come alive? What are you here for? And that is more important than the pursuit of happiness. Think of Jesus. Think of Mother Teresa. Think of Martin Luther King Jr. and the many other saints and sages, those who invest their lives, their sweat, blood, and tears into things that matter, into things that bring meaning, that bring purpose to their lives. You see the difference? They're not just pursuing happiness, but there is more to it. There is a deeper, a draw, a meaning, a purpose, why they're here. So where and how do we discover that deeper part, that deeper meaning, that purpose? And it is something underneath the surface. It's not as visible, but it's as important as you and I are alive. And in our faith language, we call it calling. What are you drawn to? What is the bigger thing that is worth you leaning into? Or as Howard Thurman said, don't just ask what the world needs of you. So don't look only what someone else wants to grab from you, all the needs, but look at what makes you come alive, what gives you meaning, what gives you purpose, what makes a difference. Look at that. For the world needs people who are really alive, fully alive, people who invest their time, energy into what makes sense and what is meaningful, in what gives purpose to life. Now, let's look a little bit back at Jesus and at the scriptures we have just heard. And Paul writes in this letter to the Ephesians, and I love this passage. I love it because it's so beautiful, so inclusive, so whole. Paul describes the purpose of Jesus, why he came. His core mission and ministry was to break down the walls and to build bridges. So the understanding from the time of Jesus was there are insiders and there are outsiders. There are people who belong and there are people who do not belong. There are better people and there are people not as good. There are white sheep and there are black sheep. And you and I, we all have some of those ideas in our heads. Why Jesus came and what he modeled, according to Ephesians, said, he took down those walls. He broke them down, he opened up, he built bridges. So when I imagine that, it's like a castle or a fortress. It has a moat and it has all the drawbridges up. That's the model how we and sometimes people around us operate. What Jesus did is he lowered the drawbridges. He opened up. He even took the walls down, recognizing that we all belong. Our humanness is common. There is no Jew or no Greek, no male or female, no slave or master, no gay or straight, no Republican or Democrat, whatever you put in as labels in there. We're all one human family, and the humanness, our humanity connects us with one another. That gives meaning, that is purpose. When you build a bridge, when you take walls down that separate us. The second scripture, and that's the gospel reading, and I love it too, but it's going really, really deep. And I have 3 questions for you and for us all that are based on each of these temptations. You know, the first one is, Jesus is so hungry. He was starving. He was fasting for 40 days and 40 nights. And the number 40 means whole, full. He had the fullest fast you can ever have. And then he sees these stones, and the tempter comes and says, get to turn the stones into bread and satisfy your hunger. Now, the question with that is, what hunger, what longing in you do you want to satisfy with stuff, with food, with dessert, with gadgets, with games, with whatever? What hunger in you do you try to satisfy with stuff? Second thing, Jesus is on the pinnacle of the temple. The devil tells him, jump, for God promises to catch you, hold you. You'll be in good hands with God. And my question in that regard is, what approval or what validation, what do you want to hear from someone for doing what you're doing? So you're doing something, whatever you do. Why do you do it? Are you looking for approval from someone? Are you looking for a validation, for appreciation, for whatever? So what is the motivation for what you're doing? And the third one is, the tempter promises Jesus everything, all the power in the world. You'll be ruler. Jesus says, that's not what it is about. And the question is, What do you want so much? What do you crave so much for that you're willing to sell your soul or give up your integrity or bend on your values, on your convictions? What are you craving for? What is so important to you that you're willing to cave in on what really matters? Now, the grass, yeah, it always looks greener on the other side. Try it, my friends. Try it. It's true. I did. It's very normal to crave and to want some of that greenness. It's in me as much in everyone else. It's right there. But when over that looking and over that bliss and over that shiny and the glimmer and the spark, when overlooking of what may bring me happiness, I forget what brings meaning, what brings purpose, what gives purpose, and why am I here? Why am I alive? What am I here for? When I forget that part over the greenness of the grass on the other side, I think that's when it gets tilted. So my question is, what is worth? What is worth? What is worth for you to invest your life, your energy, your sweat, your dollars, your time, your talents for? What is it that is so important, so worthwhile, so meaningful, so purposeful, that it's worth you investing yourself into that?